Over 100,000 migrants could be forced to leave Australia in 2025, and many of them have no idea it's coming. New immigration rules are rolling out fast, and they're already hitting international students, skilled workers, and even long-term visa holders. Some people have spent years building a life in Australia, only to now face sudden rejections, visa cancellations, or silent removals. It's not just policy, it's personal. From tougher English tests to unexpected visa cuts, these changes are causing confusion, heartbreak, and panic in migrant communities. Entire futures are being turned upside down. One wrong document, one missed deadline, or one small mistake, and you're out. So who's at risk? And more importantly, could you be next? In this video, we break down the 10 shocking reasons people are being asked to leave Australia in 2025. Some of them are expected, but others, you won't believe they're real. Number 1. Tougher English language requirements. Imagine spending years preparing to move to Australia, only to be told you don't speak English well enough, even though you've studied or worked in English your whole life. That's the harsh reality many migrants are facing in 2025. Under the new immigration rules, the Australian government has raised the bar on English proficiency for almost every visa category, especially for skilled migrants, students, and permanent residency applicants. The required scores for popular tests like IELTS, PTE, and TOEFL have increased significantly. Even a half-band difference can now mean a rejected application. What's worse, many people who were previously eligible are now suddenly disqualified, despite meeting all other criteria. Why the change? Authorities claim the new standard is meant to help migrants integrate better into Australian society and compete more fairly in the job market. But critics argue it's a way to filter out thousands of hopeful applicants and reduce immigration numbers without officially closing doors. The impact is already being felt. Migration agents are reporting massive backlogs, delayed approvals, and higher rejection rates, especially for applicants from non-English speaking countries. If you're planning to apply for any visa in 2025 or beyond, don't leave English prep to the last minute. Enroll in a trusted language program, take mock tests, and aim for a score higher than the minimum requirement, just to be safe. Because in this new system, even a fluent speaker can be turned away by a technicality. And yes, this is only the beginning. The next reason on our list might hit even harder. Number 2. Shorter temporary visa validity. What if the visa you thought would last years now barely gets you through a semester or work contract? That's the unsettling change catching thousands off guard in 2025. Australia has quietly slashed the duration of several temporary visa types, including the student visa, subclass 500, and working holiday visa, subclass 417. What used to be a reliable 2 to 4 year stay is now being trimmed down to as little as 12 months for many applicants, sometimes even less. For working holidaymakers, multiple year extensions are now far more limited, especially for those staying in urban areas like Sydney or Melbourne. Why is this happening? The official reason is to manage overcrowding in major cities and streamline the migration intake. But critics say it's an indirect way to reduce long-term migration without tightening permanent visa rules directly. The result? Students are scrambling to finish degrees on tighter timelines. Workers are being pushed out before they even gain enough experience to qualify for skilled migration pathways. And many who planned for a future in Australia are now left feeling rushed, anxious, and uncertain. If you're applying for any temporary visa in 2025, you need to read the fine print. Don't assume you'll get the same duration someone got a year ago. Plan your studies, work experience, and next visa steps with surgical precision. There's far less room for error and far less time to adjust once you're in. And remember, shorter stays don't just mean quicker goodbyes. They can also disrupt your path to permanent residency entirely. The third reason on our list? It's targeting students, and it's shutting down entire institutions overnight. Number 3. Crackdown on ghost colleges. Imagine spending thousands of dollars and months of your life studying at a college, only to find out it was never real in the eyes of the government. That's exactly what's happening to thousands of international students in 2025. Australia is in the middle of a massive crackdown on ghost colleges, institutions that offer low-quality, often fake courses designed solely to provide student visas. These schools rarely provide actual education and are often used by unscrupulous agents to help students enter the country without meeting real academic or immigration standards. Now, in a bold move, the Australian government has shut down dozens of these colleges, instantly leaving tens of thousands of students without a valid enrolment and at risk of deportation. Many of these students had no idea their school was unaccredited or under investigation. Some were even mid-course when their college suddenly vanished. So what happens if your school is on the list? Your student visa is automatically at risk, since a valid course enrolment is one of the primary conditions for staying in Australia. You may be asked to leave the country immediately or scramble to transfer to a legitimate institution, often at a higher cost and with limited options. The takeaway? Do your homework before enrolling. Always verify that the institution is CRICOS registered, check reviews, and avoid agents promising easy entry. If the course seems too good to be true, it probably is. This isn't just about dodgy schools. It's part of a wider government effort to tighten control over student migration. And if you think you're safe because you're in a big city or a known university, wait till you see what's happening in reason number 4, where location alone could make or break your future in Australia. Number 4. Regional visa reforms. Location could cost you everything. Living in Sydney or Melbourne, that choice alone could now cost you your shot at staying in Australia. In 2025, the government has doubled down on a controversial policy shift, steering migrants away from major cities and into regional and rural areas. Here's what's changed. Many skilled migration pathways now only award full points or fast-tracked consideration if you live and work in a designated regional area. Popular metro zones like Sydney, Brisbane, and Melbourne, they've been penalised in the new points system, making it significantly harder for migrants in those cities to qualify for permanent residency, PR. On top of that, several employer-sponsored visa programs are prioritising regional job offers, so if your company is based in a big city, you may lose out to someone applying from Darwin or Adelaide. Even graduate visa extensions are now longer for students who study in regional universities, while those in urban institutions are getting less time. The goal, according to officials, is to ease congestion and boost development in underpopulated areas. But for migrants who've already built lives in the cities, it feels like the rules are shifting mid-game, and the consequences are life-altering. If you're still overseas and planning to migrate, consider applying directly to regional programs. And if you're already in Australia, it may be worth relocating to a regional area, not just for better visa prospects, but also for added points and incentives. Because in 2025, where you live matters more than ever before. And the 5th reason, it could end your migration journey before it even begins, just because your job title disappeared from a list. Number 5. Skilled occupation list overhaul. Your job might be gone. What if you studied for years, built up experience, and moved across the world, only to find out your profession is no longer needed? That's exactly what's happening to thousands of migrants in 2025, as Australia's skilled occupation list faces a dramatic shakeup. Every year, the Australian government updates the list of in-demand jobs eligible for migration. But this year's update was different. It didn't just tweak the list, it gutted it. Several previously high-demand roles in IT, accounting, marketing, hospitality, and engineering have been removed or deprioritized, leaving applicants in limbo or completely disqualified. Why? Officials say the list now reflects future-focused priorities, with emphasis shifting to sectors like aged care, cybersecurity, clean energy, and regional healthcare. This change aims to align migration with Australia's long-term economic goals, but it's left many professionals stranded, especially those who are already in the system waiting for approval. If your job is no longer listed, your visa pathway could be blocked entirely, regardless of how qualified or experienced you are. Even if you're already in Australia, applying for PR just became a lot harder. So what can you do? First, check the updated skilled occupation list for 2025. Don't assume your job is still on it. If it's missing, look into related professions, reskilling programs, or roles in high-demand sectors. Some migrants are even switching careers entirely just to stay eligible. Because in 2025, it's no longer about what you do, it's about whether Australia thinks it still needs you. We put hours of research into every video to keep you informed and one step ahead. If this helped you, drop a comment with your story. We read every one. And hey, subscribing is just one click, but it means the world to us. Number 6. Partner visa scrutiny. Love isn't enough anymore. Think being in a genuine relationship guarantees your right to stay in Australia? Not anymore. In 2025, partner and spouse visa applications are facing unprecedented levels of scrutiny, and even real couples are being caught in the crossfire. Under the new rules, the Department of Home Affairs is cracking down hard on what it considers sham marriages and fraudulent relationships. While that might sound reasonable in theory, the reality is far more intense. Couples are now required to provide extensive documentation, detailed timelines of their relationship, shared financial records, proof of cohabitation, and even social media evidence to prove their love is legitimate. Processing times have doubled in some cases, and many applicants are being placed in long interviews where even minor inconsistencies are treated as red flags. There have been reports of genuine couples being rejected simply because they didn't have enough photos together, or because one partner couldn't recall the exact date they first met. So what's driving this shift? According to officials, the goal is to protect the integrity of the migration system, but for many, it feels like a test of love under a microscope, with the stakes as high as deportation or visa cancellation. If you're applying for a partner visa in 2025, be prepared. Document everything, from shared bills to text conversations. The more proof you have, the safer you are. And if you're already in the process, consider getting help from a registered migration agent to make sure your case is watertight. Because now, just being in love isn't enough. You have to prove it, over and over again. Number 7. Post-study work right slashed. Less time, more pressure. Graduated and ready to start your career in Australia? Well, in 2025, that window of opportunity is shrinking fast. The post-study work rights that once gave international graduates valuable time to find a job, gain experience, and apply for permanent residency are now being significantly reduced. Previously, international students could stay in Australia for up to 2 to 4 years after graduation, sometimes even longer for certain degrees or regional study. But under the new policy changes, these durations have been cut down by up to 50% in some cases. Now, many graduates are being given just 12 months, hardly enough time to find stable employment, let alone meet the requirements for a skilled visa or permanent residency. Why the change? The government argues it wants to reduce the number of underemployed or unemployed graduates stuck in limbo on temporary visas. But in reality, this shift is placing immense pressure on students who are already navigating a competitive job market, high living costs, and cultural adjustment. This change also makes it harder to accumulate the Australian work experience often needed to qualify for other visa categories, creating a situation where students spend tens of thousands on education, only to be pushed out before they can benefit from it. So what can you do? If you're still studying, start job hunting before you graduate. Build strong industry connections, attend networking events, and apply for internships as early as possible. Every month counts now, because in 2025, the clock starts ticking the moment you graduate, and it's moving faster than ever before. Number 8. Permanent residency points increased. The bar just got higher. If you thought you were just a few points away from getting your permanent residency, PR, think again. In 2025, Australia has quietly but firmly raised the points threshold for most PR pathways, making it much harder for skilled migrants, even highly qualified ones, to reach the minimum required score. For many, it's like climbing a ladder where the top rung keeps moving out of reach. The minimum points for popular PR visas like the Skilled Independent Visa, subclass 189, and State-Nominated Visa, subclass 190, have increased from 65 to 75 points or more in many categories. That might not sound like a huge jump, but when you consider how hard it is to gain even a single point through years of work experience, advanced degrees, or high English test scores, it's a game changer. Age limits are also stricter now, meaning older applicants are being pushed out of contention faster than ever before. Even applicants with Australian degrees and work experience are falling short. This shift means every detail on your visa application matters more than ever. You'll need to rethink your strategy. Can you gain more points through regional work, another English language test, or by studying a course in demand? It's not just about meeting the requirements anymore. It's about outperforming thousands of others chasing the same dream. If you're serious about staying in Australia long term, now is the time to take action. Evaluate your current points, explore upgrade options, and consider speaking to a migration expert who can help you map out a realistic path to PR. Number 9. Deportation for minor offences. One mistake could end it all. Think a small traffic fine or a drunken mistake can't affect your visa. In 2025, even minor legal issues can lead to visa cancellations and deportation, and it's happening far more often than people realize. The Australian government has expanded the use of character grounds to review and revoke visas for non-citizens. This means any criminal record, no matter how small, can trigger a deeper investigation. We're talking about things like shoplifting, driving under the influence, public disturbance, or even repeated unpaid fines. These are issues that might seem minor or fixable, but under current rules, they can be enough to label someone a risk to the community, resulting in immediate cancellation of your visa without prior warning. The consequences are devastating. People who have lived in Australia for years, some since childhood, are suddenly detained, placed in immigration holding centres, and deported with no chance to appeal. Often their jobs, education, and families are left behind in shock. This isn't just about punishment, it's about perception. Immigration authorities now place extra weight on moral character, and they're scanning criminal databases more closely than ever before. So what should you do? First and foremost, stay legally clean and cautious. Pay your fines on time. Avoid risky situations. Don't assume something small won't be noticed. It will. If you've had legal trouble in the past, consult with a migration lawyer immediately because even old charges can come back to haunt you. In 2025, your visa status isn't just about paperwork, it's about your behavior, your choices, and your record. Number 10. Visa application fees skyrocketing, paying more, getting less. What if you did everything right, but still couldn't afford to stay? In 2025, one of the most shocking changes to Australia's immigration system is the massive increase in visa application fees. And unlike some of the other rules, this one affects everyone: students, skilled workers, families, and even refugees. Visa fees have risen across the board, with some categories seeing increases of 20% to 50% or more. A standard skilled visa now costs well over AUD $5,000, while partner visas can exceed AUD $8,000. And that's just for the application itself. Add in medical exams, police checks, translation services, migration agent fees, and travel costs, and the total can easily reach tens of thousands of dollars. And here's the kicker: there's no guarantee of approval. You could spend all that money and still be denied without a refund. Why the sudden hike? The government claims it's to cover administrative costs and improve processing times, but critics argue it's another way to reduce the number of applicants without officially closing doors. For many hopeful migrants, the dream of moving to or staying in Australia is no longer about eligibility, it's about affordability. This shift is forcing thousands to abandon applications, cut corners, or fall into debt trying to hold on to their future. So what's the smart move? Plan well in advance, factor in all hidden costs, apply for the right visa the first time, and avoid mistakes that could lead to costly reapplications. And if you're financially struggling, look into scholarships, fee waivers, or regional programs with lower fees. Because in 2025, staying in Australia doesn't just require qualifications, it requires deep pockets. Australia has long been seen as a land of opportunity, a place where hard work, talent, and ambition could lead to a better life. But in 2025, that dream is becoming harder to reach and even harder to hold on to. With stricter English requirements, skyrocketing fees, shortened visas, and a shifting political climate, migrants are facing challenges they never saw coming. Whether you're a student, skilled worker, or partner of an Australian citizen, the message is clear. The system is evolving, and fast. And while these changes are aimed at protecting the integrity of the immigration process, real people with real hopes are being left behind. But knowledge is power. By understanding these 10 shocking reasons people are being forced to leave, you can take smarter steps, avoid costly mistakes, and give yourself the best chance at success. Don't wait for the rules to change again. Prepare now. Because in today's Australia, it's not just about having the right paperwork. It's about playing the game smarter than ever before.